Now this must have happened to you. You're in the supermarket, you need potatoes, you see a big bag, you do a comparison against a few potatoes and you think, oh, that's good value for money, so you end up buying it. Then you go to Sicily, you go away for a week, and during the week the weather turns really hot. Then you come back and you find that Julie's vegetable patch is full of new potatoes, and you start eating the potatoes from your vegetable patch. In the meantime, the potatoes you've bought from the supermarket are left in your cupboard, you forget all about them, and this is what happens. They start developing hair. I wish it would happen to me. And I'm sure that a lot of people at this point would actually just decide to discard of them and throw them in the bin and start again. Now, yes, you can do that. Of course, you can do what you like, but I think it's something to say that some of these potatoes, and most probably a good 80 to 90%, are still perfectly okay. And today I'm going to clean them, and I'll share with you what I do when it happens to me, and how I differentiate between a good potato and something which actually is only good for the rubbish bin. So, for example, let's pick one over here. This is still solid and is a good potato. Okay, it's got a little sprout. Let's remove it, and that's nothing wrong with it. It's perfectly okay. However, if I pick another one, take this one here. Can you see it's soft? It's a bit like a sponge. I think has had better days, so no point me trying to cook with this because it's not going to be any good. So that can go in the bin. So you can actually save money and avoid wasting potatoes if they are okay. Then there is a giveaway. This one here, if you take a look, has got some liquid, and actually it doesn't smell very nice. So that is a big giveaway that is definitely good only for the compost. And who knows, we'll most probably have new baby potatoes from this potato next year, as Julie's vegetable patch does wonders. Alright, you might not have gone to Sicily, you might not have a vegetable patch, but I am sure that this will have happened to you. So do not just automatically throw them away. There is something else I would like to cover though. Sometimes they go green, and that is actually when you need to be slightly more careful. I don't actually have this problem. I've got no greens in my potato, but take for example this potato, and I'm just going to use that as an example. Say the tip of my potato was green. Don't just throw the whole potato away. Just remove the tip and discard of the tip, and then keep the rest. The only time you want to discard of a potato completely is if the entire surface is green. Actually, I can go back. wrinkle soft, so no good. So this is what is going in the compost, and this is what I'm keeping. I have recently discovered that boiling potatoes with the skin on actually is a good thing. I don't know why recently, because that's the way my mum has always done it. But having googled it, I've learned that the skin provides a protective layer to the potato, and the potato when it cooks retains its texture and it doesn't go fluffy. Now let's see if I can do this without making a mess. Right, I'm going to completely submerge my potatoes with cold water, and I'll turn the hob on. 15 minutes, that's how long it's taken for the water to reach the boil, but I do actually have a lot of water and quite a lot of potatoes, so depending on the quantities you're cooking, it might take less or longer. I place the lid on so that it reaches the boil quicker, and now that they're boiling, I'm going to turn the temperature down on medium, and likely to take about 25 minutes, judging by the size of my potatoes. Really, if you go smaller potatoes, less. If you go very big potatoes, longer. And do not be tempted to leave it on maximum, because those potatoes need a little bit of tender loving care. They've had a rough time in getting here. I've given them a haircut and they're feeling a little bit bruised. So actually, if you turn them on high, the water will make them move and potentially they could disintegrate. So just a gentle cooking, 25 minutes in my case, and I'll see you then. Ciao ciao for now. I checked them after 25 minutes, and you do get a free facial with things like this. And there was just a little bit of friction as I inserted my skewer, so they needed another 5 minutes, and they're perfect as my skewer goes perfectly through, and so they are cooked. However, I'm going to turn this off. I'll place the lid back on, and I will leave them to cool down completely overnight in water. Don't need to drain them, and so even if they're not totally cooked, they will finish cooking because the water obviously is really hot. And tomorrow I'll come back, and I will be transforming these rescue potatoes into potato superstar. See you tomorrow. Bye bye. Welcome back, and here we are. They've been inside my colander for about a couple of hours so that they drain and they're not wet. And today I'm going to share with you what I do with them. And the principle is that I now have a stock of potatoes, and they can live in my fridge, and they are an ingredient already cooked, and I've got many options on what I might want to do with it. And this is the first thing I'm going to share with you. I know it sounds a little bit silly, but I pick one up. Occasionally I go in the fridge, I open the fridge door, and if I've got potatoes on the go, I just pick one up, I put a little salt, and eat it as a snack. And it's lovely, actually. It's really nice because it's straight from the fridge, a bit like a hard-boiled egg. And that is one thing that you can do. Of course, that is not a recipe. But I'm not sharing recipes, I'm going to share ideas. The next one is an obvious one, is you can make a little salad. So pick a potato, and I always like, by the way, to cut them diagonally. And in this particular case, I'm going to keep the skin because actually adds flavor, and obviously is full of fiber and texture. And quite simply, this is the quickest salad in the world. I'm going to slice a few potatoes just like this. I'm going to get this dish on the go, and I'll start building my various ideas, and I'll place them in here. Mozzarella, if you like mozzarella, or any cheese, or no cheese, entirely up to you. I've added them on the top just like this. A few leaves of basil go in. Slicing a tomato and adding it on top to add a little bit more color. Sprinkle of salt, pepper next. This is olive oil, and a little sprinkle of balsamic vinegar. And that is idea number one. I'm now swiftly moving on to idea number two. This is actually something I did yesterday when my mother-in-law came to visit, as I had made some pickled red onions over here, and I wanted her to try some. So I had some boiled potatoes in the fridge, and I did exactly this, what I'm doing right now. I used my pickled red onions, and I placed them on top just like this. I'll place the recipe up here if you would like to see how to make this. It's really simple. It's the simplest way to pickle onions. If you have never made it before, you will think, oh, how could I miss that? It's so simple, so quick. And this is pepper, and this is another idea. I got a griddle on the hob. I'm applying a little olive oil and spread it across it. This time I'm slicing my potatoes slightly chunkier, and this is now at temperature, and I'm going to place them in. Remember, everything is cooked, so they will not take long at all. I just want them to get that flavor from roasting them on the pan. Obviously the oil helps so that they don't get stuck to your griddle. So after a couple of minutes I'm going along and turning them around. But do ensure that the temperature is quite high, because obviously you want that charcoal effect. And genuinely, this is another one of my favorite ways of cooking them, because it's very simple, and they do release a nice flavor. And all I'm going to do is to add a little olive oil on top, just like I've done with everything else. Of course, olive oil is critical on all of these ideas. And earlier today I chopped very finely some rosemary, so I'll put that on top just like this, or you can add any herbs you like. And here I've got a little pinch of salt, not a lot, and I'll finish with some pepper, and this is another layer completed. But of course, how can you have potatoes in the fridge and not make some chunky wedges? So chunky wedges, here we go. I'm going to chop each potato in fours. I'll do a couple of the big ones, 1 and 2, so that I get some wedges. I got my baking tray here, lined it up with some baking paper. I'll place them in again, keeping the skin, not removing it. And here I'm going to add a little olive oil once again, and of course a little pepper, followed by a pinch of salt, and just like I did before, I've got some rosemary, and I'm going to be a little bit more generous. I'll mix them all together, and these are ready to go in the oven. But I'm going to wait, as I've got something else which I want to make that will go in the oven so they can all go together. And here it is. This is actually Julie's suggestion this morning. She said, oh, why don't you make this? So I think it's a great idea, and I'm going to show what I do. A couple of potatoes, anything you've got at home. I'm gonna go in the middle, and I'm going to press on top of the potato so that I literally purposely squash it, but I'll effectively I'm making like a ball, and I'll do the same with this one. So do not worry if it's not perfect. This is the idea. Actually, I think sometimes the more imperfect the better. I start with a little olive oil at the base of my potatoes, and I'll just gently spread it so that the area of the potato is covered. A little salt against the surface of the potato. Earlier I grated some cheddar, but of course you can use any cheese you like. So some cheddar goes here, and some cheddar goes here. Press it down. This is paprika, so I'm going to sprinkle some on top of my cheese. No, it's not chocolate. Breadcrumbs, just a little on top, and the breadcrumbs will make the top nice and crunchy as it will caramelize. Perfect. And you can actually use either Worcester sauce or balsamic vinegar. I'm going for balsamic vinegar as I want to make this vegetarian, so I'm applying a little balsamic vinegar now at the end. Here is my tray back, and I can move them in my tray with my wedges ready for the oven. Of course you can do anything you like with them. These are just ideas and suggestions. You can even make roasties because they are partly cooked. The beauty, as I said earlier, is that you've got available potatoes in the fridge anytime, and very quick and easy if you want to make anything either cold or indeed in the oven. This is my last suggestion. So I've got a small clove of garlic, and I'm going to also add some olive oil. I'll make a little marinade first. There we go. Followed by more rosemary, pepper. Of course you can substitute rosemary with oregano if you like. This is actually a southern Italian recipe, and off we go with the potatoes. So same principle. I'm going to slice these ones a little bit thinner, and I'm going to go this way so that they're not as big. I've got a dinky little oven dish, as these are ideas of course, otherwise we'll have potatoes coming out of our ears for the next week. I'm now spreading some of my marinade, including the sides and the bottom, and I've got a little bit more of my breadcrumbs. I'm going to add them at the bottom first. I'm going to give this a good mix, and I'll make sure that also I'll go on the sides just like this. 1, 2, 3 and 4. I'll dispose of the excess, and I'll line some of my potatoes at the bottom of my dinky dish first, just like this. And because they're cooked, you can clearly press them if you like, so that they give you a nice firm base. As you know from earlier, I've got a mozzarella on the go, so I'm going to put some mozzarella over here in the middle, followed by some grated cheddar. So I've got 2 types of cheese here. Now, if you're a meat eater and you wanted to add something like ham or any meat products in the middle, go ahead. You can do that in between the two layers. So here is another layer of potatoes. And now go ahead and add the remainder of my marinade. These are called, by the way, Patate Arracanate, if you wanted to know the title of the recipe. And I think I've run out of cheddar. I've got the mozzarella. I'm going to complement with a little bit more cheddar, which I'll grate on top rather than messing about. But I'll finish pretty much the way I started, which is often the case in these dishes. A little sprinkle of breadcrumbs, same reason as before. They will caramelize and give a nice golden crust. And before it goes in the oven, I'm going to add, first of all, a little bit more olive oil, just a drizzle, and like I did with the other potatoes, a little balsamic vinegar at the very top. And as everything is cooked, you'll have guessed that they will not take a long time in the oven. Of course, you can do this in the air fryer if you wish, but as I've got quite a bit to do, I will do everything in the oven. 180 degrees, 15 to 20 minutes. The only thing I would suggest is that the potato wedges, just turn them halfway so that they brown up all over. I'll see you then. If you make these potatoes after 15 minutes in the oven, you will think that you've been parachuted in an Italian restaurant. The combination of smell between the garlic, the balsamic vinegar is something else. So I think I'm done. All I need to do is just finish dishing them up. And in case you're wondering, I would if I was watching this video, Francesco, are you going to really eat all of those potatoes with Julie? No, we're not, of course not. First of all, an awful lot of this can obviously be left in the fridge, and you can eat it cold the day after or even 2 or 3 days later. But also, you might have heard some noises. Julie's got a couple of friends and they have been gassing. Actually, no, they've been cooking on Prosecco all afternoon, and they've been fixing the world. So I actually said that I'm going to get them to try some and share it with them. So hopefully they will like it. Hopefully they like potatoes. Here they are, look. So this is actually a demonstration of, they are all lined up. Yesterday they were all unemployed without jobs, and today they are fully employed as rock stars. So if you join me outside, you might want to join the conversation. I hope you are potato people and you are hungry.
Like this. This looks amazing.
Thank you.
I like them. I'll have a go at one of these. Are these super hot?
They're rescue potatoes.
Oh. Yeah, we made the pickled onion out of onions from my garden the other day.
Oh, nice.
You're very lucky girl.
Yeah, you take this all for
Yeah,
granted.
you tell her.
Yeah, you take it all for granted, Luke.
You tell her, remind her please.
We do try and remind her quite a lot.
Now, if my husband said, I'll go and get some snacks, that would be a bag of Doritos and some
With some
dip.
cheese in it. Packet with some cheese inside.
So have you picked a favourite, anybody?
Which is
With
this
the
one?
onions.
Oh, the onions, yeah, the pickled onions,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
Nice.
lovely.
He came out yesterday because my mum was here and he was like, oh, do you want to try my pickled onion, Diane? So he came out with a slice of potato. This onion on, she's looking at it like, what the hell am I doing with this? Just need to. And she's like, oh, it's really nice.
Well, I'll leave you to be then. Buon appetito. Ciao, ciao.
Thank you. Thank
Oh,
you.
thank you. This is delicious.